Hello! So today we thought it would be fun to sit down and have a beer and talk about our top 10 favorite albums. Michael and I met through music. We were in a band together and we've always had the music we listen to as something that we share. So I just thought, yeah, it would be fun. But we are going to add a competitive element to it.
Yes.
I made a list, yes, because that's us. So I made a list of my top 10 albums. Michael made a list of his top 10 albums. And then we tried to make a list of each other's top 10 albums.
Now, I'm not a betting man, but I would normally bet that Alicia probably did better than me on that front.
You think?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Your guess is...
I'll be happy if not, but...
So apparently I know Michael better than he knows me. Good to know.
Probably.
I've won already. Okay, so we're going to do this turnstile. I'm going to go first, then he'll go, then we'll trade off. We're going to cut this into 2 parts, so we'll each do our first 5, and then in the next video we'll do our last 5, and figure out who was the winner of the guessing game. But first, I want to... I'm slamming my book around. I want to explain... No, my results. I want to explain Michael's taste in music, because I think that it'll help give you some perspective. He really likes classics as well as crappy emo music. Yeah.
You may or may not be correct.
He likes some good music. For the most part, he really listens to music that's instrument-based. The vocals aren't the crucial component for him. He's a drummer. So I find that... that he's listening for like good instrumentation.
Not a big singer-songwriter kind of person.
No, not even a little bit. Basically, he likes energetic music, and he doesn't like anything that's like too mellow. So he doesn't have Radiohead on his list.
I was just about to say, I don't like Radiohead. Who'd have thunk?
Boo. Okay.
My explanation of Alicia's taste in music is going to be much shorter.
Oh.
She likes an eclectic blend of music for the most part, because she likes definitely more pop music than me.
Do I?
A little more like of the old R&B stuff, like I'm thinking things from the 90s. Wouldn't say necessarily that they're on the top of her list, but she certainly listens to some of that stuff occasionally.
Erykah Badu.
The odd boy band, maybe, more so in the past.
Michael's describing 15-year-old Alicia's music taste right now.
Hey, we already decided, like, early or like late teens, early adulthood is like when you form your like favorite music.
Yeah, that's true with a lot of my choices.
But more recently, Alicia still likes a lot of poppy stuff and some stuff that's musically interesting. And pretty much exclusively with good vocals.
Oh.
She's not like a screamo type of gal.
So we're gonna start now. I put mine in order from, I don't know, worst to best. That sounds weird, they're all my favorites. But I'm gonna kind of count down. Michael's just doing his in whatever random order that he pleases.
Yes, I did not target mine 10 to 1 or anything like that.
My first choice, aka number 10, is the only thing that comes from before the 90s on my list. And it is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. Now, does that mean you did not put it on?
I did not put that. That would have been a good one.
I'm not usually a big fan of classic rock, but I've always loved Fleetwood Mac, and it's just a solid album. I really like the song Dreams, and what's that one we played?
The Chain.
Yeah, The Chain. We've jammed that one before. So, yeah, solid record. What's your number 10?
Solid record. That's an amazing record.
Is it on your list?
It's not, but it almost
Apparently.
could have been. Okay, so with my list, I did mine a little bit different, because I didn't order them like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 as a countdown. But I also mostly picked albums that defined either a point in my life or albums that I keep coming back to. So they're not necessarily the 10 best albums that I've ever heard, but they're 10 that like mean the most to me kind of thing.
That's exactly how I picked mine too.
Yeah. Okay, so at number nothing...
Trying to look at your list.
I'm going to go with this one. So this is kind of a cheat, so I'll get it out of the way first. This is the Essential Simon & Garfunkel. So this is actually a collection. Because this basically defined the music that I listened to during my childhood and early teens, because my mom was a big Simon & Garfunkel fan. And the two of them were just an amazing duo, and it was kind of an eclectic blend of music. And they had some amazing songs, and I listened to that album a lot, even after I moved out. My mom used to make fun of me and say that my university friends were going to think I was a giant hippie because I was blasting Simon & Garfunkel in my dorm room.
So we both struck out on our first choices. I didn't even think about Simon & Garfunkel. Even though you've been to like their spin-off shows or whatever.
Well, we actually
Isn't it Garfunkel?
No, this was a...
Or was it a cover thing?
A cover thing, a
Okay.
tribute thing.
Yeah.
But we actually had tickets to see Simon and Garfunkel on their last tour ever, and then Garfunkel got sick.
Oh, yeah.
Like 3 weeks before the show.
Yeah. So my number 9. This is a completely different vein. This is a very emotive album, I find, and it's Carnauba by Silversun Pickups. I've listened... No, you didn't
Good
get
one
this
too.
one.
Don't put that one on. I told you she was going to win.
Oh, I haven't gotten any right yet either. I'm a big fan of Silversun Pickups. I like all their albums, but Carnauba is the one that I listen to the most. I think it came out in the mid-2000s, which was when we were...
I think so, yeah.
In the mid-2000s, we were both around like 20 years old, so very formative. Great album, very indie, very moody.
I like it too. Okay, my next one... Well, let's pick one that Alicia might have figured out, I'm not sure. So this is definitely my dad's influence, because my dad played a lot of music in the house when I was growing up.
Oh, I have a shot at this one.
I figured. And I've definitely played it a lot. But I'm going to go with Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell.
Yeah, called that one.
Now, yeah, just an incredible late 70s prog, or early 80s, I'm not sure.
Tell them
But,
about...
like-
No, it's late 70s. Tell them about Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
And it has Paradise by the Dashboard Light, which is basically the song that Alicia and I insist on requesting at every single wedding that we ever go to, ever. And we're usually one of the very few people on the
Dancing
dance
like
floor dancing to
lunatics. For like a 10-minute song.
But if you like classic rock, now that is the album to listen to.
My number 8. You probably guessed this one. I'm not
I
sure
hope
if you.
so.
I'm not sure if you're gonna guess the specific album.
That's the problem.
The Killers' Hot Fuss.
I didn't guess the Killer's Hot Fuss.
You didn't put the Killers at all?
No.
We even talked about the Killers like 2 hours ago.
I made my list before that, most of it.
That came out in what, 2004?
Three, I think.
I was torn, but yeah, I think so. I was torn between Hot Fuss and Sam's Town because I listen to them both a lot. But Hot Fuss, it's like every single one is a single, and I have a really specific memory of rollerblading in my grandparents' unfinished basement to the Killers.
The original hipster.
What
What song was that? Do 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 ba do do do.
Da 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 da. It's the first song on the album. Do.
Jenny was a friend of mine.
Do. Thank you. The words weren't coming to me.
Yeah, just so you know, I only knew that because she said first song on the album, because whatever she was singing was not that song.
It's got that great bass line.
It starts with guitar.
No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, but then the bass line, like, okay, what's your next one?
Okay, well, let's get this one out of the way. I too chose a Killers album, but I chose a different Killers album.
Which one?
Because I chose Sam's Town. Again, I told you she was
I got it. I knew he wasn't going to pick Hot Fuss. I'm going to give myself a beautiful check mark.
So that's 2-0 right now, not for me. But I chose the Killers' Sam's Town because it's just such a big album. It's got this big grandiose feel to it, which is kind of what the Killers do. And I feel like in that album they had the big grandiose part perfected, and then they had their kind of like synth pop retro sound perfected. So it's just an album that I absolutely loved.
And it has bones.
And it has bones. And as an added bonus, I was listening to that song or that album a whole bunch when this person and I first started getting together.
That's why I was considering putting on Sam's Town.
Apparently, she may be smarter than me, but I'm more emotional.
Sure.
Which is not true.
Okay, I'm excited about my number 7 because I feel like it's not an album a lot of you will know, maybe. Dead Sarah, self-titled.
That was the one that I was just thinking that I should add to my list.
Yeah, well...
Darn it!
What's that like, darn it?
Because I'm not supposed to swear, and I almost did.
Why? It's my vlog channel, you're allowed to swear.
Shit!
Dead Sarah is an LA band with a really amazing... all the instruments are amazing. She's one of the few female vocalists who can, have a lot of grit, but isn't shrill. They're amazing, and, the rhythm section's fantastic, and...
It's hands down an amazing band and an amazing album. If you seriously like somewhat aggressive music,
But
or
with,
you're
a
into
90s
trying
flair.
it, this Yeah, very grungy. Very grungy. That band and that album, you should definitely look up.
It's powerful. It's good. It's really good.
Hands down, one of the best bands that's making music right now, as far as I am considered.
Yeah, their second album is really good too, but the first one just has more, like, sentimental value, which is why I put that one.
And I'm still waiting for the third.
I was gonna say that you haven't got any of my 4 yet, and you're not doing so hot.
No, I'm not.
Okay, what's your next
Who
one?
could have predicted that? Okay, there's no chance you're gonna guess this one. And I mean no chance.
Try me.
A Slipknot album.
Nope.
So this is Slipknot's Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, which sounds like an odd one for me to put on the list compared to some of my other ones, Slipknot next to Simon and Garfunkel.
He was a metal drummer. Sorry to interject, but
Nope, that's fine.
He spent his youth playing in a variety of local metal bands, so it's not totally random.
Yeah, no, metal was my first big music that I got into, and this album, I had heard a previous Slipknot album, but this album was just
I wish
perfection.
you could see him twirling his pencil the entire time he's talking.
This album was just perfection as far as they were concerned. It was complex, but not too complex. They weren't just going crazy and, well, you said that I can swear, so I'll just say this, and masturbating all over their instruments, doing crazy things. It was, really well put together. It was a well orchestrated metal album.
All right, so that brings me to the last one of this segment, my number 6. I'm not sure if Michael might have gotten this one. I feel like there's a good chance, maybe. Mumford and Sons, Sigh No More.
No, I considered it.
Why did I even marry him? He doesn't know me at all.
Oh no, I don't know your last top 5 music albums.
Mumford and Sons was a band that he introduced me to, which is why I thought he should have known it. Right around when we started dating, we listened to it a lot. It's just,
it really is a good album.
I know it's kind of like a... Mumford and Sons is kind of like... I don't know. What
it was a little bit...
hipstery, maybe?
Yeah, and they were a little bit flavor of the weeky, but it is straight up an amazing album.
Yeah.
And even the lyrics, because he pulled a lot of the lyrics from classical literature, lots of Steinbeck.
In the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that
in
was
the first one.
Oh, okay.
In the second one, there's a lot more biblical references and stuff.
Hence Babel or whatever.
Yeah, but the first album was definitely their best by far.
So what's your last one?
Let's see, the last one for this one.
I keep trying. I'm not looking.
I'm not trying to show it off. I'm just trying to make a good mix of albums here. Excuse me.
Are we editing out the belch?
I'm gonna go with this one. I'm curious if you had this one. So this was definitely a huge album in 2004, I think, when it was released, and it skyrocketed this band to biggest band on the entire planet
Yeah, I think I got
2
this
or
one.
3 years. They became bigger than U2. They were bigger than they were practically bigger than the Beatles for a while, even though they were mostly dead. But this is Green Day's American Idiot.
Yeah, got it.
This album was in my first car's CD player for 3 years without ever being removed.
And before we recorded this video, Michael was like, "Oh, you might have a hard time because some of them might not be ones you'd expect."
Oh,
And
I knew
this
you'd
is-
expect that one.
Oh, okay.
Or at least I thought so. But yeah, it was really a great album. It basically took Green Day from a waning pop punk band who was basically just about to die out into, again, biggest band in the world. They played stadiums, arenas with hundreds of thousands of people all of a sudden.
And they came out when we were about 18 years old, so again, it was right about that.
Yeah, grade 11, grade 12, I can't remember which.
Yeah.
Bye!
So that wraps up the first half of this video. Stay tuned. I'm going to post the next one shortly. I don't know. I'm just being vague because I don't know when I'm going to post it. But you'll see it soon. And we will go over our next 5. And maybe Mike will do better at predicting mine. But I have a pretty solid lead. So catch you in the next one.